Okay. The first page,
And
and so the story begins with Dad looking out the rising water. Okay. Tell me about it.
Dad looked worried. I don't like the look of this, he said.
So then, how did Dad feel when he looked at the water? How did he feel?
We don't want the.
He felt excited?
No.
He felt
He felt
worried. Say,
worried.
he felt worried.
He felt worried.
Because why?
Because I don't like the look of this.
The water
The
was
water
getting
is
closer
getting
to their house.
to their
One more
house.
time. The water
The water
was getting
is
closer
getting
to their house. Tell me, why do you think Father worried? Because water was
to the
getting
house.
closer. 정확히. Getting closer
Getting closer
to their house.
to their house.
One more time. Why his father felt worried?
And getting close.
He felt worried. He felt worried because the water was getting closer to their house. What was Chip's initial reaction to the flood?
Chip's very excited.
Yeah, he was excited. Okay? He was excited. He smiled at Dad, doubted that the water could reach their home. Okay? Did the rain stop after Dad expressed his worry? Did the rain stop? Rain stop after Dad expresses his worry? Rain stop or keep raining? Rain stop? Stop?
No.
No. The rain continued to fall. 지금 page 11. The rain stopped. The rain continued.
안 나와 있는데?
Yeah.
12초 아니야 지금?
이거 두 개. 일단 it didn't stop raining. 다시 한번. Did the rain stop after Dad expressed his worry? No. The rain didn't stop. The rain continued to fall. Where did the water reach first? Where? Where did the water reach first?
Water reached the edge of the park.
Yeah, reached the edge of the park. How did the text describe the movement of the water toward the road?
The rain began to cheer up the road.
The story says the water began to creep up the road. Creep up. Creep up. 귀여우다. One more time. The water began to creep up the road. Creep up. Okay. Where did the water go after passing the fence? Where did the water go after passing the fence? Fence가 뭐냐면
And flooded the end of the garden.
Where did the water go after passing the fence? It flooded the far end of the garden. One more time. It flooded the far end of the garden. What was the weather like during this time? What was the weather like?
The road never refund it.
Yeah. The rain never stopped. Okay?
Okay.
It was a persistent rainy day with dark, overcast skies. Why was Dad standing by the fence? Why was Dad standing by the fence? 왜 아빠가 standing by the fence? 울타리 옆에 서 있었어? He was monitoring the rising water levels outside. One more time. He was monitoring the rising water levels outside. Was Chip worried at the beginning of the story? Was Chip worried at the beginning of the story? 초반에 지금 걱정했니? No. You seemed quite cheerful and unconcerned. How, 다시 한번. Was Chip worried at the beginning of the story? 다시 한번 정확히. He seemed quite cheerful. Say, he seemed quite cheerful and unconcerned. He didn't worry about it. How would you describe the flood in the garden? How would you describe the flood in the garden? 어때? 물은 어땠어? 물은?
It came up to the front and the floor and
The water
the garden.
So got to seep through the fence and cover the ground. The water seep through the fence. 뚫고 들어오고요. Water seep through the fence and cover the ground. One more time. Water seep through the fence. Cover the ground. Okay. Next page. What happened to the road near Wilf and Wilma's house? What happened to the road? 도로는?
The road never refund. William's house was flooded.
The entire road was totally flooded. 완전히. Okay?
Okay.
Say. The entire road was totally flooded. What happened to the road? 전체 길이. Say. The entire road was totally flooded. The entire road was totally flooded. What were the children doing as they watched the cars?
Did the cars going to the flood?
They watching how vehicle tried to drive through the deep water. Hey, what happened to one of the cars in the flood?
The children did the cars going to the flood? One car had come down and was
it stopped working, got stranded in the middle of the water. Got stranded, got stuck. Stranded가 stuck, 갇힌 거야. Okay? One more time. What happened to the one of the cars in the flood? It stopped working and got stranded in the middle of the water. Why couldn't the children go to school? 왜 아이들 학교 못 갔지?
응?
Why couldn't the children go to school? 왜 아이들이 학교 못 갔어? Because
Because the
학교 강당이 뭐야? 물에 잠겼잖아.
flooded.
The school hall
The school
was underwater.
was underwater.
한 번 더?
The school hall underwater.
Was underwater. Besides the water,
The water.
what was another problem at the school? 물 외에도 besides, okay, besides water, what was another problem at the school? 건물이 난방이 안 됐어. The school had no eating.
No eating.
One more time. The school
The school
had no eating.
had no eating.
Eating. Who told the children that the school was closed? 누가 얘기했어? Who told?
Mrs. May.
Yeah. So the teacher,
Teacher,
Mrs. May,
Mrs. May.
gave them the news
I used
that the school
the
is
school
closed.
is closed.
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 How did Will feel about the school closing? How did Will feel about school closing? He was bored, unsure about what to do with his free time. One more time.
I'm like going to the art day.
He was bored. He was bored.
Yeah.
Bored. Bored.
Bored.
Bored.
Bored.
He was bored
It's bored.
and unsure what to do in his free time. What kind of sign was hanging on the school gate? Look at what kind of sign was hanging on the school gate? 학교 게이트에 what sign was hanging?
School
Yeah.
closed.
There was a sign that said school closed.
School closed.
There was a sign that said
It's
there was a sign that said school closed. Why was it unsafe to open the school? Why was it unsafe to open the school?
If I dropped the wall, I don't come out there.
Why? Because of the lack of heat and the presence of flood water inside.
Or inside.
There's no heating
There's no heater.
and
And
the school was flooded with water.
with water.
다음 page. What did the children see when they returned home?
And the children got home. They saw in
So,
the sea.
A large truck parked in the street. What was the lorry carrying? 뭘 싣고 있었어?
Sandbag.
Yeah. So it was filled with many sandbags. One more time. It was filled with many sandbags.
Many sandbags.
What were the neighbor doing with the sandbag? What were the neighbor doing with the sandbag?
People were tracking those sandbags to their house.
Yeah. They were taking them to their house to block the water. One more time. They were taking them
They were taking
to
them.
their house to block the water. What did the mom ask the children to do? What did the mom ask?
We need you all to have.
Yeah. Why are the sandbags useful during a flood? 왜? 그렇지?
응?
Why are sandbags useful? Why are the sandbags necessary? 왜 필요하지?
이 집 입구를 막으려고.
Sandbag act as a barrier.
barrier.
Sandbag act as a barrier to stop water from entering building. One more time. 한번 더. Sandbag이. Sandbag act as a barrier
Act as a barrier
to stop
to stop
water from entering building. 한번 더. Sandbag act as a barrier to stop water from entering building. How are people moving the sandbag?
People were tracking the
Some
sandbags
people
to their
were
house.
carrying them by hand. Others used wheelbarrow. Where was the lorry parked? Where was the lorry parked? It was parked.
Was parked
어디? Right in the middle of the street, near the house.
near the house.
한 번 더. Where was the truck parked? 트럭 어디 있었어? Why was it important for the children to help? Because flood was a big problem
big problem.
that required
Every car.
everyone's effort. One more time. Why? Children's help is necessary. Flood is a big problem that requires everyone's effort.